Kara Zor-El escapes the dying planet of Krypton. She is delayed on her way to Earth. When she gets here 24 years later, she becomes Earth's newest hero, Supergirl. Welcome to the Krypton Report, a Supergirl podcast brought to you by Southgate Media. I am your host, Tyler Patrick. You can find me at JTYPatrick on Twitter. So let's get started on what's going on today in the world of the Kryptonians. Alright guys, welcome back to the next episode of The Last Daughter of Krypton. I got my man Chris here with me.
What's up?
And we got the little man himself, decked out in his Kryptonian gear. Solo! He will be commentating with us about the recently released Supergirl trailers.
This will probably be the only time he's quiet today.
And I think he's still just in shock. He's watched it with me several times now. I think he sees her up there with the screen. He's like, I'm 4 months old, Daddy. But, wow.
He's like, I know what I'm looking forward to.
He's like, we gonna watch this, Daddy, together?
Yeah. He watched it with Uncle Chewy, too, which, that's me, by the way. And he was smiling the whole time. He's like, oh, I can't wait to watch Supergirl with Uncle Chewy and Tyler.
So, we just recently rewatched both trailers to get kind of just a refresher and really let it sink in. So, Chris, your first reaction.
Okay, so first reaction, I'm first off, before we even get into any of the details, I'm excited about this. I think it looks fantastic. You can tell they spent a ton of money on the pilot.
I think it was, what, $14 million or something like that?
Pretty much a film for the pilot.
Solomon agrees?
Solomon agrees. I think it's great that they're pulling in Jimmy Olsen. It seems like he's already a mentor to her, which is fantastic. I like the way everything's going. I think it's interesting it's an origin story, but we're kind of dropped in after she's been here for a while, and we're seeing her develop her powers and figure stuff out, and it takes that one pivotal moment when her friend's in trouble to really decide, this is where I have to finally use what I've been given. You know, I'm excited though, man. I think it's too good looking not to be excited about.
I'm very excited, and let's see. Glenn Winter directed the pilot. And Glenn Winter has directed, his resume is short and sweet. Smallville, Arrow, and Flash. So if you can't get, I think between Glenn Winter and David Nutter, those are the two superhero TV people you go to for directing.
Well, and the fact that he's done so well on Flash, he's done so well on Arrow, I feel completely confident in what he's going to do with another DC Supergirl. Plus, the way that they have written the female characters in Arrow and Flash, it's fantastic. So I have all the faith in the world that this is going to turn out to be great.
I completely agree. One thing that, not that I'm worried about, it throws up a flag. I don't know if you remember, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. pilot was directed by Whedon and looked amazing, a mini movie.
Yes.
But then after that, you could definitely see the decrease in budget and size after the pilot.
Yeah. So I think we're going to see a decrease in budget and probably a little bit in size. But the nice thing is with CBS being the one that's fronting it, besides CW, even though CW is doing really well with their DC stuff, they have more money. They have the ability to kind of expand it a little bit more. I mean, it's kind of like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2 looks so much better than Season 1 because Disney is like, oh, we should probably back this a little bit more, and they gave them more money.
Now, here's one thing I find interesting. I was watching, I wonder how much of this trailer is linear. Because I was reading some things online, people talking about her actions, and I thought, my first reaction was, well, that's just her being her character, so people don't know that she's Supergirl. But then I thought, if this is before she comes out as Supergirl, but then the scenes where it's just her and her sister, she doesn't seem as awkward, nerdy-ish.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering where a lot of these take place in the...
It's definitely not... I don't think it's linear. I agree with you there. I think... I think even Jimmy Olsen, the way that he reacts, and especially at the end, if we could jump there where he gives her a cape, I think that shouldn't be in the first episode. That should take a little bit of time.
I wonder how long the first episode is going to be, if it's going to be like a double premiere, because looking at this trailer, that feels like 2 hours to me.
If you were to, because it does, it has a budget of a movie, it might as well be 2 hours.
I mean, that's... maybe
with
that's
commercials. That's an hour and 28 minutes. That's a solid film.
And it's possible, I've seen other shows do where
the pilot doesn't get picked up, but the pilot's done like a movie, so then it could just be Supergirl, a TV movie.
Yep.
If it wasn't going to go to series or something.
Yeah. Although we luck out because this one is going to series.
Yeah, CBS ordered. That is something to point out. CBS has ordered a full series. Yeah. It will be Monday nights.
Yes.
Starting November, which is odd because I was hoping.
Well, I figured September.
Yeah, we
with
get
all
the
fall premieres.
You know, CW is known for doing their premieres in October, so I was hoping maybe we get it out a little earlier in September.
Yeah.
Now, what's also interesting is this show is basically going head to head with Gotham.
Yeah. Now, I would say even though Gotham has its fan base and has its following, there's a whole other group of people that's really going to enjoy Supergirl. So I think we're going to see a varied audience. But here's the thing. So, do you know why Gotham got renewed? Because the ratings were not great in TV.
But it's also Fox.
Right. But here's the thing. It actually got renewed because their online viewing was so spectacular.
That's the thing. Is like,
so I think Supergirl might actually stand a chance to outrun it on network.
I'll tell you
and
what,
Gotham will stick with the online views.
As of right now, if I had to pick one to watch in real time, I would pick Supergirl.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like Gotham. All my fans out there, if I have any,
listen
to me on Before the Bat. I enjoy Gotham, but I'm a Kryptonian at heart.
Well, I look at it this way. I love Gotham, but for me, Gotham is not. It's not a Batman TV show.
As much as you want it to be.
Supergirl.
Exactly.
So for me, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to watch Supergirl in syndication, and I'll keep watching Gotham on Hulu when I'm done. You know.
Exactly.
Especially knowing that Fox is like, oh, our online viewing is great. Yeah, let's just keep the show.
So, my first reaction to the show, I like it. All editing aside with the music and stuff, it gives it a different feel. I like that it's brighter than a lot of the other shows.
Maybe too.
It seems fun and enjoyable, but yet serious at the same time. There's a lot. The action you see of her fighting the lumberjack. Yep. Because we know he's the villain in the pilot.
Yep.
Her portrayal seems great.
Yeah, it's Felicity Smoke, but if Felicity Smoke had superpowers.
Can we say pre-season 3 Felicity Smoke?
Yes.
Pre-Olicity, because
season 1.
Yeah, because
that nerdy,
fun-loving character.
Ally McBeal.
I
love when she's like, I'm hot, and I'm like, no.
I'm like, your face got smashed with a 2x4 and your lips just got stuck. Like,
but I get what she's saying.
I'll be talking more about Cat Grant in a new episode coming up.
I'll tell you, actually, I love the dialogue. Why don't we call her Superwoman? Well, what's wrong with girl? Like, as a male feminist, I think it's really interesting to see, like, putting power back into that.
Right, because like I was thinking about this, like Supergirl has always been defined as more of a sidekick character. Even though she has her own comic book and everything like that, she's had her own storyline.
She's always had partners and
she's always, even in her solo adventures, like she's always been looked at as like the side character. She's not like, okay, you have Batgirl, which is basically saying I'm a derivative of this other character. She's a derivative of Batman, even Batwoman. But like you have Wonder Woman who's like, I'm my own character.
Yeah,
and so Supergirl
is a direct descendant of Kal, and although I'm used to Superman training her and helping her find her path. This is where it gets weird.
This is where the story gets me. Everything else I'm cool with, and like I've thought more and more about this. My initial thought, and we've talked about this before, is I would have preferred Supergirl to be more of this world's Superman.
Yeah.
I'm indifferent, but I lean more towards I don't like the idea that they reference her cousin. There's multiple references in the pilot. I don't want to see them throughout the series, and like it just keeps, to me, kind of cheapening her character.
Yeah.
And there's the line in the trailer where she's like, "Are you bulletproof?" She's like, "I think." I'm kind of like, if I don't know about you, but if I was from a planet that was blown up, and I was the last survivor, and then I find out there's another person who happens to be my family, I'm pretty sure we'd be buddies and hanging out.
Yeah, and that's where...
And especially if we found we were powers, I'm pretty sure I would have, like, teach me, and would have matured my own abilities.
Yep.
I get the other idea of, like, her having to make the choice if she wants to come out and use them to save people. That's her choice, but at the same time, in theory, if Superman Kal can do it, So can she?
Yes. Now, I will tell you, we kind of talked about this when we saw Mad Max, and we were wasting time watching this before. And I was like, well, for me, because they haven't cast a Superman. We see him technically in the trailer. It's just a shadow with a voice. And they probably just cast a voice. I'm almost wondering if Superman's off planet.
See, if there's something like Superman's gone, off planet,
or is this post death? Yeah, is this post Doomsday?
Because it seems like Jimmy Olsen is not as young.
No, he's old.
Jimmy Olsen, he's
older than Kara.
He's Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen.
Yep.
So he has a direct link to her.
So there's been time. So I'm wondering if he's on planet, if he's hiding, if he's off planet, if it's past Doomsday. Did we get past Death of Superman?
So that's all opening a lot of ideas.
Plus, this doesn't adhere to the DCU, the cinematic universe. So we can't have this be post.
And at the same time, it could tie into it. It's very up in the air. Now, one thing, this is me nitpicking.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, I've always liked Inherita as Kara. So that they went with Kara.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
It actually, when I said it, it's hard to say.
Every time,
hard K.
It's like every time someone references like Kara, I'm like, ugh. I don't know. Maybe it's just because most of the Supergirl that I remember growing up with was from the animated, and then even on Smallville, it was Kara. So that's just what I've always heard, and
I will tell you, I don't miss the white gloves, and they can stay away.
I like that it's more of a traditional Supergirl. Now, here's something that was funny. When she first walks out in the trailer and she says, "I'm not going out like this."
Yeah.
That outfit to me is it's almost
Smallville.
A direct Smallville. Yes. Then the next outfit's the short skirt and just the boots, which is straight up from the Helen Slater movie, and then we get the final reveal, and I'm like, I like the suit more and more in action.
I love that they didn't make the joke about this is the symbol for hope.
Well, I like that she pointed out that
it's the family crest.
The family crest is supposed to mean hope.
Yep.
And that's something people forget, is it is the family crest. It's not an S. And it's one of those things that's evolved over time. Yes, originally it was an S.
Hope starts with H, stupid.
It's a foreign language from an alien world. It's a symbol. It's supposed to be kind of like, how Led Zeppelin, Led Zeppelin, back me up here, people, 3, 4?
Yes.
Don't hate me if I got it wrong.
3.
But when it was all the symbols.
Yep.
And the one symbol people said looks like Zoso.
Yep.
But it's supposed to be just a symbol. It's the same thing.
It didn't mean anything.
It's a symbol.
Just a symbol.
But it looks like an S.
But everybody thought it was Zoso.
Just like Zod's symbol in Man of Steel was a sideways Omega symbol.
Mm-hmm.
Dum dum dum. But I'm really excited. I like the effects look great. A little bit of Hank Henshaw we see in his department of whatever weird thing it is about aliens, and how she immediately partners up. I almost feel like some of that Henshaw-ish stuff might be more towards the second episode.
Yep.
Because like I said, a 6-minute trailer, so much of this feels like it's got to be a 2-hour two-parter or something.
Or else we saw everything.
It's like...
I was surprised we didn't see a flash of Toyman yet.
We did.
Did we?
I'm telling you, that's who the guy is who's palling with her, who is helping her make the costume.
Okay.
I'm telling you, that's gonna be Toyman. That's Winslow.
I'm okay with that.
I almost forgot that he was in. I'm like, who's? I'm like, oh yeah, that's Winslow, who's gonna be Toyman one day.
I love the line. Oh, so you're gay? No, I'm Supergirl.
Oh, that makes sense why you don't like me. I did like that we don't see Helen Slater or Dean Cain in this.
Yep.
We know that they've both been cast. But overall, this trailer, I'm excited. Okay, how did you feel? The scene, I love it, where she's going I need to go save them. And she goes running in the alley. Did that not give you a Sam Raimi Spider-Man feel?
Oh, totally.
I was like, yeah.
I will say, I love where she jumps off the roof.
Oh.
And comes right back. Because I'm like, oh, okay, this is fun.
Now, I'll tell you one thing I noticed is that first production still of her,
yep,
in the costume and everything, this is just me paying attention. She had high heel boots, but if you watch in it, she's wearing a flat boots. I got some behind the scene photos of her, which have been released. She just looks awkward in that photo.
Yeah, she looks uncomfortable.
And then that's when they finished wrapping the highlight, the Superman cupcake. And they released all these cool promos, and you can see more in the costume, the red stitching. So
it's fantastic.
I'm excited.
And because it is more of a colorized television show as opposed to something dark like Arrow, and even Flash to an extent, we get to see so much more of the costumes, so much more of the lightheartedness of the show.
And in a sense, like, you know, we're not going to go into the whole what they've done with the DC films, but Superman's supposed to be bright, and in this is filling that void of being bright and being something else compared to the darkness that we get with the Man of Steel was a little bit darker.
Yeah, I agree. And I like that it's going to be a fun show. It has the humor already. It's even in the trailer.
It's not okay to. I mean, it's okay to enjoy your comic book shows and have fun with them.
Yes, it doesn't have to be dark and brooding all the time.
That's what I always.
Lois and Clark was hardly ever dark and brooding.
Lois and Clark was great because it was like a rom-com with Superman.
It was moonlighting with Superman,
which is great because I've been rewatching Lois and Clark.
Solo agrees.
He does.
Yeah, moonlighting with Superman.
So I'm pumped. I give this trailer like high praise. Some people want to.
If I had to rate it, man, I would honestly, I'd give it at least a 4.5. And the only reason why I'm saying 4.5 is because I feel like we have to see if this is a double-length episode or not.
I agree.
If it's a single-length episode, I think it's going to be a little hard to get through. But other than that, man, I'm excited.
It'll be so fast. You'll be like, huh?
You'll be like, oh, is this?
Now here's something else I've been thinking of. You know, we know that it's from the producers of Flash, Arrow. And I've talked about it being the same universe, but at the same time, I don't know if I want it to be or not right now.
I don't want it right now. I would like the first season to be standalone.
I would like the first season, because I would like for her to really identify herself.
Yes. You can mention Star Labs, you can mention Central City, you can mention all of that. I want there to be just, this is Kara.
Because in one sense, I'm like, I want it to connect, because I would love to see all of them together. In another sense, I'm like, because we know what they're doing over on Flash, what they're building to.
Yep.
And we know that they have a new show spinning off that's will be discussed.
The Legends of Tomorrow.
On another...
People meet later at an undisclosed time.
It'll be discussed on the Flash Arrow Power Hour podcast. But, so I'm like, I want it to stand on its own and do something.
Look at Arrow Season 1. That was all really Oliver Queen.
Yes.
Getting to be Arrow and figure out how to solve the world's problems with his book. And it was great because we weren't forced to have to learn new people.
Yes.
Season 2, awesome. We get frickin' Barry.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden Flash happens. Now Flash is allowed to cross over with Arrow because we've already seen Barry and Arrow. You know? Until we get something more definitive about where the world we stand in Supergirl, I'm sticking with just Kara for the first season.
Because on one hand you have the ability to reintroduce characters on Supergirl that we've met on Flash, but a different version.
Yep.
Which can be cool, but at the same time it's like, depending on who the character is, how many times can we splinter one character?
And you know, they've never talked about Metropolis or Gotham or any of the other larger cities in DCU on Flash or Arrow.
Because they're not allowed to.
Well, I mean, but, okay, so let's even get past, like, the legalities of it.
Well, she's not in Metropolis. She's in National City.
I couldn't remember where she was.
So she's in a whole city of her own.
Right.
And that's awesome that she's somewhere different.
It's kind of like, but you know what? Okay, so if we can go even a little bit further past this, Solo's like, yeah, where is Arrow? Where is Flash? Come on, buddy. I think we need to really take back and have a moment to say, holy crap, we not only have Flash, we have Arrow, which, you know, they're smaller superheroes in the DCU, as far as some people are concerned, because they're not Superman, they're not Batman.
The DC is bigger than that.
Right, I know, but most people are like, oh, DC, that's Superman, Batman. We're getting Supergirl, and we're getting it on a larger network and a larger scale. what's next? Teen Titans is coming, TNT.
Yep.
We're talking about the possibility of even maybe seeing a Nightwing eventually.
Well, I think Nightwing's supposed to be part of the Titans.
Which is great.
So that's what I was going to say. We're going to see, for sure this fall, we're going to have Supergirl, Flash, Arrow, and then we still have Gotham.
Yep.
Legends of Tomorrow is in January.
I love that in Gotham. They're like, we can't talk about Batman because we still have some stuff we got to work out, so we're just going to call him Bruce. Baby Bruce.
And then we're hoping that Constantine gets saved.
Man, I don't know why Constantine couldn't get picked up in Legends of Tomorrow or even Flash Arrow.
Yeah, I mean, if they introduced it, if they just brought it back as the mid-season replacement.
If you brought in Zatanna and all of a sudden it's like...
You could start bringing in the magical element of the DC
And
universe.
all of a sudden you're just like, Barry runs into a coffee shop and as he walks by, John Constantine's smoking a cigarette on the corner. It's just perfect. It's perfect. Well, because, and I can't even remember his name off the top of my head, which makes me sound like a terrible fanboy, but I don't care. The guy who plays
Matt Ryan?
Yes, Matt Reiner. He's even said, I don't care where it goes. I just want to keep doing it.
I would love, like I said, people have said speculate on a different network or Sci-Fi or
Well,
Netflix.
and Sci-Fi hasn't said no yet.
I'm fine with whatever. I think it would be cool if it was on CW for the sense of just keeping that DC
and
connectivity.
CW can pull it off because they have shows like Supernatural, they have shows like Vampire Diaries, which is a little more esoteric, a little more gothic, a little more brooding. They can make this work.
They can make it work, especially, if you get the producers to look, work on it and oversee it, and you get it, like I said, I don't need John Constantine in everything, but you bring Constantine back.
I don't even need a solo Constantine show.
Bring him at the beginning of season 4 of Arrow in some form, and then when season 2 of Constantine starts, make it a shoot for a mid-season replacement.
Yep.
Make it, keep it a 12, 13 episode show.
And here's the thing, I know this is just, I was talking about the trailer of Supergirl, but here's the thing. This universe that's being created is getting bigger and bigger with every show that happens. And I don't know, I think we're actually going to see what the DC universe has not been able to do in cinema that Marvel has.
Yeah, Marvel.
But they're doing it on TV, because for me, TV makes more sense for DC.
Yeah.
There's so much you have to do.
Marvel's TV has not been doing well.
Agent Carter is cute, but that's about it.
And it works to a point. It's good, but it's not great. But that's not including. I'm not including Daredevil because it's Netflix. It's a different style of TV.
Or Punisher. It's gonna be.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a different style. I'm talking about just networks and stuff, cable-esque channels. So DC is really knocking it out. I'm glad that. What I want is when they release Titans or whatever, or Legends of Tomorrow, I need it on my Thursday night. Okay, Legends of Tomorrow on Thursday is probably going to happen.
Yes.
I want Titans on Friday or something, because I want to spend every night of my week watching a DC show.
Well, when iZombie stops working, which after season 1 or 2, that's going to be what it is, we're either going to see Flash or Arrow move to Thursday, or we're going to see Legends of Tomorrow take over Thursday. You're going to see CW having a DC show at least 3 or 4 nights a week.
Do they air stuff on Fridays? I don't even remember.
They air some back episodes, some runs, the reruns.
I feel like if you got the right show, that could be your Friday show.
Yeah. Pick up the writers from Constantine. Constantine Friday night. Why not?
I definitely see Legends of Tomorrow being on Thursdays.
Yes, well, Thursdays, especially with it being a new show, Thursday is prime.
Because you put Flash on Tuesday.
People are willing to stay up a little later to watch TV on Thursday because they know Fridays they're going to be kind of an easier day at work, starting the weekend.
Fridays, I think, are always the worst day for shows. That's why I think Constantine.
It's not like it used to be with TGIF when we were kids.
Oh, TJ.
Miss you.
But, alright, so we digress because we love our DC and our comics.
It's hard not to.
We've looked at some of the new photos. Is there anything we're missing as far as news-wise? I did see one thing was... I cannot pronounce his name, and I feel bad because it's a different name. But if anyone's a fan of The Mentalist, the guy that was on, I'm going to try this, and you know that I'm not great with names. Yeoman? Oh, yeah. That's good enough.
Yeoman.
Owain.
Owen.
And then Yeomon.
Owen Yeoman.
So we'll be playing the alien convict Vartox,
Ooh.
who looks like Burt Reynolds in the comics.
Ooh.
He's been cast, and then there was an off quote from the actor who's playing Hank Henshaw.
Yeah.
That he's alluding to cyber Superman or some sort of cybernetic.
Okay.
So I'm cool with that. Like, I'm excited. I'm like, all right.
I mean, everything you're saying right now to me is just, it builds up the series and it's going to be fun.
I guess there's so much to the DC universe that can be thick and can be good. I just don't want to I don't want to see where I'm watching a character, like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to see a character show up on 3 or 4 different, like, I want to see a movie version, a TV version, and then another TV version.
Yeah, and that's kind of like where I was saying that I like what CW and CBS is kind of doing with all this. We're getting these tertiary villains that are still really important to the dialogue and the plot, but they're not mainstream villains.
Now, is there any other villain, like, now that we've seen the trailer, you think about? Like, I'm telling you, I want to see Parasite.
I'd like to see Parasite.
And you know who, I gotta think about more. You know who'd be a good character to bring into Supergirl? Dr. Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
Because we saw a great Dr. Hamilton in Smallville.
Mm-hmm.
He got killed off in Man of Steel in the first film of this series, this universe. He's dead, so he's not coming back in the films.
No.
Let's go ahead. He's always tied close to Superman. He'd be a great character to have. Because even I think they've alluded to maybe Star Labs. I can't remember in Flash having more than one facility, or if it's just the one facility.
They have said that there are multiple facilities, and so I think
the idea that Hamilton works at a different Star Labs would be really cool.
Yeah, I think the only one that I would like to see would be Parasite, just because
I think
I'll be really interested to see how they pull it off.
Well, I've been rewatching. I mean, we saw a version of Parasite in Smallville, which wasn't bad, and I've been rewatching all the animated stuff with Solo because he loves his cartoons.
Heck yeah.
I think Livewire, I've said that before, would be cool.
Livewire would be cool, but I don't know if they can pull it off on TV.
You can. I mean, it's so easy. You just gotta downplay everything.
Yeah.
It's just, don't make it like Electro.
Right.
I'm Electro. But all right.
Don't make it dubstep Jamie Foxx.
But I'm just trying, there's villains they're pulling out that I don't really remember because I haven't read as much of the 60s comics. And there's a lot to do. I don't want to, like I said, I want this to be very much Supergirl show. I don't want people to compare it too much to she's Superman but just a girl. I really want her to be able to stay on her own and get her own spotlight.
I like the fact that, and this will be the last thing I say, I like the fact that she learns how to fly in the trailer, which means that, she's not Superman. She is still learning. So she can develop her powers and we get to do it with her.
And we're not going to take Smallville time to do it.
No, we're not going to take 10 seasons to be like, oh, he can finally fly?
It was a mental block, is all it was.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
No, because he flies in season 4 when he's not Clark, he's Cal. And then he flies again, but when he's Clark, he's got this mental block. But anyways.
Let's call it what it was. Brain fart. Brain fart can't fly, Tommy.
The one thing that I wrestle most about this series, and this is just reiterating, this is the final thought here, is how I feel about Superman being alluded to and being part of this without being a part of it.
I think if they make him off planet or they make him have passed, I'm fine with everything.
I want Kara to stand on her own.
Yep.
I want it because it gives more reason for the backstory of everything to come into play, of why she was adopted by the Danvers, why she's and this Kara definitely is going to be, Kara is definitely going to be some sort of amalgamized Supergirl.
I would love it if somebody accidentally calls her Kara, and she's like, oh, it's Kara, okay, and then she just goes with it.
Or they're in this and they're like, oh, it's Kara. She's like, no, it's Kara. And they're like, are you sure about that?
Are you sure it's on heavy K? All right.
They're like, okay. I guess we have Cal, which is spelled with a K, so Kara. I guess.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't want to call it kale.
But,
It's
alright.
a tasty vegetable.
Now, to close out this episode here, we're going to say a few things. One, if you're enjoying the show or you have any speculations or anything like that, please hit us up on Twitter at LastDaughterPod. Also, find us on iTunes, give us a review.
Yep.
Even if you hate us, we're sorry. We just do what we do. And the last thing is moving on to the newest news about the show Krypton.
Yeah.
There is none.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So that show, seemed like it had some motivation going. Then they were like, we're gonna fizzle out here. Like I said before, I think if they did that show, if they made it if they want to do a show called Krypton, and they make it a show about two brothers, about Zor-El and Jor-El, and then bring Zod into the fold as like this best friend, and really make it this show about these people who are all seeking to better their world, and one, like three best friends type thing, and one starts to go a different direction. There's your drama. There's your tension.
And you could shoot the entire thing like they did Fantastic Four in secret, where nobody knew about it behind scenes.
Yeah. Maybe that's what's going to happen. All of a sudden, September is going to be.
Yeah, they're like, by the way, here's Krypton.
We've seen Star Trek on TV. We've seen Enterprise on TV. Your budget is right in there. We've seen Battlestar Galactica. It's in the same. It's doable. It's not
all completely doable.
It's not doing anything. So, for me, Solo, and Chris, we're saying thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Hear you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Krypton Report, the Supergirl podcast. Hit us up on Twitter at Krypton Report. Leave us a review on iTunes and let you know what you think, how the show can be better, your thoughts on Supergirl, and anything else you feel like chatting about. And I'll catch you next week.